Hype Train. How are we, people? Welcome. The chat's going mental, and we haven't even started yet. And Nav, you are correct. Steve-O is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. Lots of jokes about my makeup. I'm never going to live that one down. Commercials. Yeah, I had to hang on. I didn't know. I had to do the old Hype Train bit, and I wasn't going to make the same mistake as last time because my comedy genius was just wasted because I was doing it all through the advert and none of you even saw it. It's Steve-O the Tank Engine. It's the War Boss. Skarner waves from platform as train goes past. That was brilliantly put. Dreadwar. Well, that explains the lateness. Had to rehearse that choo-choo bit. It's coffee. How much did I... It's a coffee. How much did I win? Yes, it is a coffee. In the wrong mug. I keep doing that. I keep not bringing my special mug out. The Hype Train is loaded with gold. GW gold. Real gold. More gold than before. Comedy genius. Thank you, Dread. Thank you. Very kind of you to say so, sir. G the Hype Sapien says, I like it. He knows the commercial will ruin the intro, so took his time. Yes. What I was doing, I was stood over in the corner of, well, just out of shot of the camera. I was stood there watching the comments, and I was kind of thinking, shall I just wait for someone to go, where is he? Or, something. And Stick says that mug's iconic on this channel. I do always have this one. This is one of my favourite mugs. My favourite mug actually was the one I was drinking out of last time, my Bulldog mug. The 6+ Steve-O mug I've got. I don't actually like having coffee out of it too much. I don't like coffee in massive mugs because all the what's the word? The ratios are all wrong. In a small skinny mug, you get lots of milk, lots of coffee, lots of sugar, and not much water, and you get a nice, strong, full-bodied coffee. When you got it in a massive mug, it's the same with tea as well. When you got it in a massive mug, it's just fuckloads of water, and it waters everything down and makes it taste all wishy-washy. And you could obviously up the ratios and everything, but I don't want to put like a teaspoon and a little bit in, Scarlett says, mine in the post, I take it. I've been very slack. Because I'm not really allowed out the house at all because of me condition. I'm still advised to sort of not go out too much. And also there hasn't been much opportunity to get down a post office. So they're currently all sitting there. But I'm very soon to do my competition giveaway, choose a winner, and do the video for that and send that off. So what I'll probably do is kill a lot of birds with one stone, send off the prize and all the mugs to you fellow war bosses at the same time. Marcus, Hype Train, is that a Thomas train? Sticks, that mug's... Oh, no, I've already read all this bit. Dreadwell, what's that naff mug? I want to see 6+ merch. First live chat I've made too. Hope it's a good one you get. Ross Anderson. I'll do my best, mate. Pressure. Cool. Nav's hobby corner. Milk, sugar. What is this sorcery? Mate, you've got to have lots of milk or cream, lots of sugar, and lots of coffee. And keep the water bit. That's the necessity, but it's kind of the rubbish bit of the drink. Keep that to a minimum. Now I like strong coffee that's really sweet, and just like obviously really good for you. Plastic Bear says, Jesus, he drinks tar, not coffee. You see the colour of that? That's a good colour. That is a good colour coffee. I'll be really careful because my Death Killer Wartrike's right below it, and it took me a fucking age to paint that. Horace says, Steve-O, do you put the milk in first? Yes, because I'm not going to scorch the beans. Plastic Bear, Steve-O, no rush, mate. Got plenty of cups to drink out of. I'm sure you have, buddy. I'm sure you have. William, what's this got to do with coffee and trains? Sounds like a country song. It does. Nav. Can you get on that, please? I want a country song singing about coffee and strong coffee and hype trains, please. If you could make that a reality. I think Nav could literally make a song and a tune out of anything. I think he could. He works quick as well. You give him a brief. You give him a brief like, Nav, I want a song about this. I want it to be cover this, this, and this, and I want it to kind of sound like this. And within like a day, he's back to you like, how does this sound? You're like, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's brilliant. Yeah, he's good with the old music, is Nav. Underdog Painting says, just painting some mega knobs. Haha, knobs. Loved painting my Gorkanaut. Did you see it, Steve-O? I believe I did. Was it the blue one? I think it was a blue Gorkanaut, wasn't it? Death Skulls one. Cascana says, coffee trains take me home. Modeling for Advantage, good to see you. A quick plug for these guys, actually. Modeling for Advantage, big fan of their channel. I really like their channel. I haven't caught a lot of their videos, but whenever I do catch their videos, I'm always really impressed. I like the laid back banter between the lads. You can tell they have fun making their videos. And they always, I don't know, the format, the setup they do for it and stuff is good. And they get to the meat of the topic. They really do, but it's sort of in a very laid back, fun way. And yeah, I've got a lot of love for those guys, actually. Modeling for Advantage. So there you go. Steve-O recommends that channel. Go and check them out. I predict quite big things for those guys. Manic Moose. Hey boss, started painting the Doof Goth wagon. Cool. Drink it like a real boss, like me, straight black. I will have black coffee, but I don't like coffee with no sugar in it. If there's no milk around, I'll tolerate a black coffee, but not it's too bitter without sugar. It would have to be a Shuffle Nav's hobby corner. Oh, he's got it. Nav's on it. He's literally, maybe he'll probably have that song ready by the end of this live stream. Modeling for Advantage, loving the shows myself. Good crack. There you go. Scardo is a fan as well. So there you go. Both endorsed by both of the bald knobs. There you go. And he says, cheers for the plug, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem, mate. I will happily sing out the praises of channels I'm a fan of and get them like out there. Because yeah, you do good stuff, guys. You do. I genuinely mean that as well. I really enjoy your content. They always do some like little outtakes and stuff. They got a bit of banter going on between the lads. They give each other a bit of stick. It kind of reminds me of ourselves, actually. So yeah, got a lot of love for those guys. Essex Boys, I've been hearing a lot about you, and I haven't seen any of your content yet, I'm sure. Am I right in saying this, guys? Essex Boys got a channel going, and I haven't seen it yet. I have been, before we get into the whole talk of ninth, actually, I have been crap at watching other people's content for a little while. I've got channels that I've always been a fan of, not just gaming related ones, but I watch all sorts of channels. I I said quite a while back that there was no one making the kind of content, or content at least, that I wanted to watch, or at least not enough of it. There was people making content and some good content out of it, not enough people. And so that's kind of one of the big reasons why I started doing the channel. Since we've been doing this 40k community thing, and other people have been started either relaunching their channels and getting back into their YouTube thing, or starting from scratch. There's so many now, and it's brilliant. It's amazing. And now we're spoilt for choice for like all content on YouTube, which is what I wanted. Like it's astounding. It's awesome. But there are only so many hours in a day, and my time is pushed all the time anyway. And I simply don't have enough time to watch everyone or watch all of everyone's videos. I try and watch everyone I know of, at least a bit of their content. I mean, and there's certain channels I will not miss a show because like I'm just a big fan. I will watch everything they do because like I love what they do. But yeah, I just it's hard keeping up now, which is a positive thing. But please, guys, if any of you in here do have channels and stuff, feel free to shout about them in the comments and stuff. Feel free to shout about them on the 40K community. And if I don't see them all, I apologize, and I do my very best. I caught up recently on Rivets and Dakar. Oh my God. Rivets and Dakar, mate, you're going up. You are shooting up, buddy, because your content it's sublime. I love it. It makes me laugh. I learn stuff. Like on his recent video, he's showing these tools that he has for like making rivets, and I was just like, they look cool. They're expensive, but they looked really cool. And it was something I hadn't seen before, actually. I've seen a fair few different ways of making rivets, but that's a new one on me, and it looked really cool. And I love his whole setup. And if my first video was as good as his first video, like I'd be doing like much better than the numbers that I'm on now, which I'm pleased with, but I'd be higher up, I think. He's hit the ground running. And so that's examples of his first videos, like imagine what he's going to be like a year from now, once he's got experience under his belt. He's been doing it a while, he's learned stuff and he's adapted and things like. But to be honest, not that he has to learn much, because I don't want him to change the format. It reminds me, actually, and I mean this in a positive sense, Rivets and Dakar. I mean this this is a compliment. It reminds me of Dread's early videos. I know Dread's in the chat here, but it's very much the same. It's a show with different topics in it, whereas my content, unless they're live videos like this, I'll cover all sorts of topics. But when I do a video, I generally keep it quite tight. I'll do a video on a set topic and then another video on another set topic. But I like the format that he does it in, where he does like I don't know, like an hour long show or a 2 hour show or whatever, however long his show is. Quite a long show, but he'll cut to like different videos within the one long video, and it's just a really cool format. And I remember when Dread started out doing that, and I remember saying to Scarno, "Have you seen this Dread guy? Like I'm liking what he's doing. It's really good." And I remember saying at the time, like, he's going to be big. He said, and obviously, and we all know Dread now, don't we? So, you know, I called that one. I'm quite good at predicting who's gonna do well. Voldemort was another one I called out and said he's going to be big, and like shit me, like he surpassed even my expectations. He's just exploded. But yeah, who else have I been catching up on? Sorry if you've come for news about Ninth and I'm just yabbling away here, but hopefully this is all of interest to you. Like I said, my live videos slightly less structured. I try and keep them more on topic on my recorded videos, but we will get into Ninth. I promise you. Who's the other one I've been watching recently? Oh my God, my memory is so shit. It's another one with rivets in the name. What's it called? Come on, guys, help me out, because I know a lot of you in the comment section are a fan of hers or watch her content, and she's a big member of our community. What's the channel called? Roxy the Riveter. Boom. There you go, Roxy the Riveter. She's only made a few videos thus far. They're very much the opposite. They're kind of short videos, very short, sweet videos, but like just good videos. You get what you see on the title. You get a short video about that, and it's straight to the point, clear, concise, and just good. And again, I think she's going to do very well because she's incredibly talented. I mean, you've only got to see the stuff she's churning out and posting pictures of in the community page. She is exceptional with the kit bashing and converting and scratch building. And yeah, I think her content is going to do well. And yeah, again, another one I'm a big fan of. I hear the Pale Git is pretty good, says the Pale Orc. Yes, you're right. He's also incredibly modest. No, the Pale Orc is another channel that is very good, and another one that I'll endorse, certainly. Just started doing battle reports as well, which is really cool. And they're not easy to do. Battle reports are tricky ones. They can be time consuming to film and do. as well as like having fun and playing the game. But then the editing afterwards and everything can be a lot of work, depending on the format you go with and stuff. So that's, you know, not something I have done yet. But it's again doing good stuff. But there's loads more than I've even mentioned. There's loads of new ones that I've literally just sprung up within the last couple of weeks. I've just started sort of watching their content, and so I'm just trying to dip in and catch up with a few people's videos here and there, and sort of, you know, show my support, because I want to show my support. And I feel bad when I see it. And I looked on, was it Rivets and Daka, and I had to comment on this. I'm ashamed that I'm this late to the party, because, like, I don't know, if I'd known it was this good, I would have been here a lot earlier. And I still haven't caught up on all his content yet. I think he had 3 videos out. I've watched his first 2 episodes. I haven't watched his 3rd one yet. I will be watching every single video that he brings out, because he is informative, entertaining, and bloody hilarious. So yeah, very good stuff. And Palux has been up since 4 a.m. finishing Met Guns to paint for the report. Oh yes, brutal, man, brutal. You're putting the pressure on yourself. I see. I know the feeling, mate. I know the feeling. Well, if you see me wince a bit through this video, guys, there's a good reason for that. I have been our back garden is I can't even explain it to you because it won't do it justice, but it is an absolute bomb site and an incredibly like a mental job ahead of us. Like, it's not get your shovel and get out there. It's like heavy duty stuff. But we've had our really nice neighbours helped us out. We've got a loan of a digger, which we've had in the garden today, digging it up and levelling it all out, because it's just like this. It's a massive task, trust me. But there's all loads of pallets and loads of broken up wood and stuff all over the garden, covered by weeds and everything. And he's digging the stuff out, and I'm grabbing all the wood out ready for burning and getting all the rubbish out, and just like grabbing stuff as he's digging it out. And I stepped on an old fence post, and there was a great long rusty nail like that. And literally, I'm just wearing trainers, and I stood on it, and it went straight up, like just straight through, and instantly. And ever since, I've been, my foot right now is in absolute agony. I took my shoe off, and it was all right. I looked at it, I thought, was only a bit of blood on my sock. As soon as I took my shoe off, just like, starts peeing out blood. Feet are like heads. Like, if you cut them, they bleed a lot, even if it's only a small cut. But this went in quite deep. And it isn't pleasant. My big toe, like, I can barely move my big toe at the moment. It didn't go in my big toe. It went in, like, I don't know. Imagine this is my foot, and this is my big toe here. It kind of hit here, so it went up there. But now all round here is what hurts, not the actual wound itself. But we called up. Someone says called a doc. We did call my doctors just to check when my tetanus jab was, because this nail was rusty as fuck. Everything in that garden is rusty as fuck. And they said, luckily, my tetanus jab was done in 2014. They last for 10 years. So I'm all right in that perspective. But yeah, I'm hoping it's getting better. CM, I've got the weekend ahead of me doing this as well. I'm going to be out there all weekend doing this. And now I've got like a foot. We also uncovered like 2 bees' nests. So we've had a load of angry bumblebees all around the garden, which got a little bit scary at times. But no one got stung, luckily. And hopefully they'll have cleared off by tomorrow. I see Capitan Morgan's in here. He says, I have another 12 Met guns to buy and build, and have 12 already. Only 8 primed. 24? Jeez, man. Whew. That's... You're taking it to the extreme there, aren't you, buddy? I do love my Met guns, but wow. You're not messing about. Modern varieties. Thank goodness you didn't show I'm eating a sandwich. Yeah, and that's not even because of the wound. You just don't want to see my hideous feet. They're seriously like hobbit feet. They really are. All hairy on top. They're proper, like, I've got proper hobbit feet. Gaz Koldar, need to start selling 6+ Stevo voodoo dolls. No, because they would be a big seller and I'd be in big trouble. I think the my fellow war bosses would probably buy a few of them each and brutalise me. I doubt they'd be jabbing them in the feet either. They'd find all sorts of places to jab those needles. Capitan Morgan says 8 smasher guns, 8 tractor cannons, 8 mega cannons. Where's the bubble chuckers, man? Come on, you got to represent them all. I notice you haven't got them in there. Velgarn's in here. I should start painting my miniatures in these days. I didn't before, since sometimes my neck or back hurts, so I prefer to do something else. Yeah, I get that. I get that, buddy. Because you'll notice that a lot of my videos, I won't do it on this one because of my foot, but I sit up hunched over like this, or I'll like kneel on my chair and hunch and sit. I've always kind of hunched like that. And sometimes after like a long painting session or even doing like one of these live videos, I get up afterwards and my back is fucked. I've suffered with sciatica and stuff in the past, and I really need to sort of work on my posture. But yeah, that's what's been happening to me today anyway. Yeah, I suppose we better get on topic because we are over 20 minutes in and I haven't even mentioned Ninth yet, other than saying I promise I will talk about Ninth. So we had news today. We had news today on the different sizes of games that they are offering. So the whole on the Warhammer community site. So if you haven't seen it already, if someone wants to post a link, but no one needs to post a link. You'll know where the Warhammer community site is. Just type in Warhammer community and take you there, and it'll be one of the top stories. Yeah, so the more little tidbits and bits of information coming out today, and they've just expanded on the different sizes of games. So we had a bit of that yesterday. Let me bring it up actually, so I can remind myself on what the different. So yeah, we got Combat Patrol games, Incursion. So we got Combat Patrol is your 500-point game. Incursion is your 1,000-point game. Strike Force is your 2,000-point game. And then Onslaught is your 3,000-point game. And they've sort of spoken about some of the restrictions and stuff within those. So I'll go into that in a minute. But also that we already know the points of stuff is all going up. So I imagine the 2,000-point game will probably be what we currently play as a 1,500-point game. And I think the 3,000-point game will be sort of around like what people play now in like a 2,000-point game. So although the points may seem bigger, I think a 3,000 will be like, if you're used to playing 2,000-point games, you'll probably end up playing 3,000-point games in this new edition, I think anyway. They've gone into some restrictions and stuff on there. So in a Combat Patrol, like in the amount of detachments you can have. So in a Combat Patrol, you can only have the one detachment, which seems sensible to me anyway. And then in the Incursion games, it's 2 detachments. Strike Force is 3 detachments. And then Onslaught, which is your 3,000-point games, you are limited at a maximum of 4 detachments, which... that all sounds very reasonable to me. And I can't imagine many people like at those levels of games would have many more detachments than that anyway. So yeah, it seems right. They've given like a time scale on the games as well, but that doesn't really mean much because it varies from person to person and army to army. Some of us, it depends how much rules and stuff you're checking up on, but they sort of say that a Combat Patrol game will last like an hour, which it probably would. The game, not the setting up, and then Incursion up to 2 hours, Strike Force 3 hours, and God, like that. The next thing they talk about though is the different size of battlefields, and I kind of talked about this. I think we chatted about it with Skarna when we were doing the Bald Knobs, and I sort of mentioned it in there. And I can see where this is going, and this is where we get a little bit of my concerns. Nothing major, but just little niggles. And I can see what's going to happen. Mark my words. So they've given the battlefield sizes that you should be playing these games on. And it's that they're all rectangular. So people were talking before about like there was a rumor about 4x4, a lot of games being played on 4x4. Turns out that's not true. Because it looks like all the games are going to be played on rectangular tables, as it says. And it's done it. Oh, I'm no good at figuring out even simple mathematics like that on the fly. But it talks about 44 by 30 inches for your combat, patrol, or incursion games, which they say you can use 2 of the kill team boards, put them together, and that will give you the size board. You know what's going to happen, though, don't you? You know what's going to happen. GW are currently printing or making loads of different sized battlefields and mats or gaming boards or whatever to sell us. So we are going to be getting, and I don't really like it. I do like it. It makes sense that the size of the battlefield scales up and that, but it's a bit of a bummer because a lot of us have 4x4 boards and stuff. And these are guidelines. Like, don't get me wrong, these are guidelines and things. But a lot of us like to play like within the rules quite close and play them as close as possible. But yeah, I think I just want to see the 6x44 6x4 is that I can't figure it out. They've written it in inches, and I know it's not very difficult maths, but it's I just want to see which one is. I think the Strike Force. Yeah, Strike Force looks like it's on a 6x4 board. I think anyway. I don't know, but yeah, it's 44 is 3.6 feet. Thank you, Velgon. Thank you, Velgon. So yeah, well, so none of them are 4 foot. So yeah, they're going to sell a fuckload of mats and stuff to us, aren't they? So that's, I don't like it. I don't like that they've done that. Just couldn't you have added a couple more inches onto it and just kept it as a 4 foot? I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, expect GW to be selling you a lot of overpriced gaming mats or gaming boards or Realm of Battle boards or whatever they sell that are just like ludicrously expensive. But yeah, I think I will continue using the mats. I've got a 4x4 mat and I've got a few 6x4 mats, and I think I'll continue playing on them. I've got my kill team board as well. I don't have 2 of them though, to put together for a game. What have we got here? What's going on in the comments? It's Zachary Stewart said, I've heard that GW has trouble figuring out mats. The foam mats cause cancer and they don't want that. The cardboard ones wear out quickly and the tiles are a pain to transport. The foam mats cause cancer? What, the mouse mat material ones? Really? Just a giant mouse mat. What in what way in terms of manufacturing them? Surely not using them, having them. I can't imagine that's true. Alexander Warren, hey Steve-O, finally made a live stream. Good stuff. Good to have you here. Modeling for Advantage, 2, 4, or 6 kill team boards. Yes, they want to sell us a lot of kill team boards. Dreadwire, basically they want to sell mats, so they'll make sure all the competition is void in size in doing so. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not even sure that's true. I think you're part right that they want to sell a load of mat stuff, but the competition, most of the gaming mat companies already will, they sell them in a range of sizes for all different game systems, and the vast majority of them are like Game Mat EU, Urban Mats. There's lots of other ones as well, but nearly all of them already sell them in custom sizes, so you can tell them I want that design but in these measurements, and they will make them to your specifications anyway. So they're not even going to hurt the competition because they literally make giant mouse mat materials and cut them to size anyway. So the competition in terms of third parties can easily just go, oh, that's the new. They're probably, having read it today, they're probably already on it. They're probably having a board meeting right now going, right, guys, we need mats made in these sizes. New editions coming out. We've got to be ready to sell these new mats to people. So, yeah, I don't think in terms of gaming mats and stuff, GW are really going to trouble the competition there, because it's a piece of piss for them just to go, okay, we'll change our sizes to mats to these ones now. And I imagine you'll see them being sold on those sites very soon. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a nitpick, I guess. We know how GW operate, and that's what they're going to do. But the article then goes on further. It gives an example of the combat patrol mission, which looks pretty cool. And yeah, it doesn't really go on much further than that. It's just talking about the sort of the different sizes of the game mats and stuff. But yeah, I like that I love that they're scaling the game up and down. That's brilliant. And what we had with 8th, we didn't have combat patrol at all. We didn't have Apocalypse. They made a whole new game for Apocalypse. And they didn't. I mean, I've heard from some people. I think it was Dim that said to me that 8th doesn't scale up well. I've played some large games of 8th, and I thought it scaled up all right myself. I mean, I haven't gone massively large games with 8th. I thought that releasing an entire new game and an entire new set of rules for Apocalypse was like a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Personally, I don't think it was necessary, and I think the vast majority of people play Apocalypse. Apocalypse is like a rare event for most people, and the fact that I think you have to be playing a game quite regularly to retain that information. And I think if you're playing like 1 or 2 games of Apocalypse a year, you're not going to want to buy an entirely new game to play it. Play it once, 6 months, learn all the rules, play it once. 6 months later, maybe have another game of Apocalypse, and then forgotten all the rules and have to learn it all again. I didn't think that was necessary. Now, what I have done a lot of with 8th is play really small points games, and actually it scales down beautifully. But there was no sort of special. We kind of did our own sort of restrictions and stuff on it, and said, right, you can only have like a certain detachment. You can't have named characters. We did like that sort of thing. But it's nice to have official rules and proper rules from GW. Plastic Rat Gaming says 8th scales fine. Apocalypse was a pointless release. I agree with that wholeheartedly. No longer needed. It was folded into the core game back in 7th. Yes. I think this sounds like it's going to be good. And even with the games they put there, like you can quite easily look at those and go, right, well, if we play 4,000, we'll up the command points to this and up the detachments to this. And it's really easy to scale it up. Like, I don't know, as each 1,000 points, you add like another 3 command points and another 1 detachment. So it's really simple to scale it up in terms of setting up. But yeah, I don't mind some additional rules for games of Apocalypse. And we've had that in the past. We've had I think it was 5th edition when I remember playing the actual Apocalypse rules and that. And it was just an expansion to the game. And I think that's the way to go with Apocalypse. But I'm so chuffed to see Combat Patrol really making a big thing, and like how they're upping the points. So like at a 2,000 point game in 9th is going to see a lot fewer models than we've seen in 8th. And I think they've done this as well to sort of encourage new players in, and with prices going up, and us like in the start collecting sets. You remember when you used to buy those Battle Force sets, you'd get like 60 miniatures in a box. Now you get like 11 miniatures in a box, or 15 or whatever, if you're really dependent on the type of faction you're getting. So I think they've kind of scaled it down because they're kind of accepting the fact that they are expensive, and people just starting out, it's quite hard to get up to that point. And so it's really good it's a great way to encourage new players and stuff. And they're kind of saying that, oh, you want to start a Combat Patrol army, then get yourself a start collecting set that pretty much gets you there. And so that's cool. But let's have a little read of what's going on in the comments. Roxy Derivator's in here. I don't know if you were in here earlier, Roxy, but I was singing your praises. She said, POC was just to pinch a few pennies. Yeah. It's just, I haven't heard of anyone playing it, or other than Skarner, anyone else buying it. I don't think he's played it yet either. I doubt you'll get to now. He's correcting me there. Well done, buddy. Apocalypse was released in 4th. Apocalypse Reloaded was in 5th. Yes, you're right there, actually. Redone the rules again in 6th and folded into the core rules in 7th. Yeah. Alexander Warren says, how is your painting going on your green skin, Steve-O? Really well, actually. Really well. Let's show you. I will show him off in a video properly soon. But I got me Death Killer War Trike here, all painted up. Probably not showing off on the camera very well. I love how the back end of this thing looks. Looks like the Batmobile. Looks really cool. But yeah, had a lot of fun putting this thing together. I'll show it off like it looks crap on the camera. But I'll get it under some good lighting and a good camera and do like a showcase video of that. And I'm cracking on. I've got so with him now completed, I only have 3 units to finish. I've got my next unit that I'm cracking on with. These guys have been at this stage for a while now. This is another 10-man unit of Grots. They're my next unit I'm going to be doing, and I've just got to put some yellow on them and tidy them up a bit. And then get the wash on and highlight and stuff and do the bases, and they'll be done. And then also inside this box, I have my 15 tank busters and 10 shooter boys, and that's it. That's all I've got to do. It doesn't sound like much when you say 3 units, but when I break it down into miniatures, I've got 35 miniatures left to paint, which makes it sound awful. But I'm looking at these Grots. I should be able to have these done within hopefully the next few days. Well, I'm going to be doing a lot of work in the garden, so the next few days might be out. But yeah, I'm going to get them finished as soon as possible. And then the tank busters are at a very similar level to these, very close to being done. And my shooter boys are probably the least done, but even they've got, I think I've done their green skin and the metallics, so they're a good way into it. But yeah, I'm getting there. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. And you know what? As well, it's been great because. It's currently a 1,500 point, but once 9th edition comes out, I might be closer to the 2K than I thought. So I might actually have a fully painted 2,000 point army. So that'll be nice. But yeah, I'm going to carry on. I've already got my plans for the next stuff. Once I've done that, I've got Mr. Gorkanaut over here. He is a little bit dusty at the moment because he's too big to fit in my storage cases. But he is I'm going to get on with him fairly soon, and I've got 10 mega knobs that are all primed and based and ready to get the paint on. And I'm eager to get them done. So with adding a Gorkanaut and 10 mega knobs to my army will bump the points up considerably. And yeah, so I'll be well on the way. But that's I can't touch them yet. I must not get sidetracked. I must focus on the list and get the list painted. I've been doing other little side bits as well, getting some paint on scenery. So doing little bits of that, and just even when I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm still making a lot of progress hobby-wise. Dreadwire says you gets way ahead of me on the painting. Yeah, but you said you were going to catch up and overtake us, Dread. You said once you got that air gun out, you were going to go. He says I'm cracking on though whenever I can. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, the heat is on now. The pressure is on. He said, looking forward to our battles. So am I, buddy. I'm just looking forward to playing again, full stop. I had Reroll Joe. He popped around and met me at my gate the other day. We stayed 2 meters apart. And he came out to pick his half of the saga of the Prophecy of the Wolf box. He came over to collect his Ragnar and his intercessors or whatever. Basically, he came around to pick up Ragnar so he could build him and his intercessors or whatever they're called to shove them in the box and never be seen of again. But yes, so when we were saying that we want to get a game on soon, and yeah, I'm just itching to play again. But it's good because if I was playing now, I wouldn't have got all this painting done. So it's all these negative things have actually been a positive for me getting my army done. I simply would not be where I am now otherwise. And I think once it's done, I can just take the pressure off myself big time. And I will not put the pressure on myself to set a goal of, right, I've got to hit 3,000 points now. I'm not going to do that because it's been a blessing and a curse. Yes, it's great. I've got stuff done, but actually it has been a real fucking weight on my shoulders and a pressure on myself. And so it's, I will just be painting off, the odd unit here and there and adding them to it slowly and just having fun with it. And Dreadwire says, don't worry, I'm always here to put pressure on. Yeah, well, it won't work after that because I'll say I've got a painted army. So there is no pressure. There'll be no pressure. I'll literally paint for the fun, and I'll paint stuff that I want to paint because it's fun and it's part of my larger army. I'll just have some fun with it. But I will have to get painting some more boys because I obviously have to get some more boys painted. So I'm just going to lift my foot up very carefully, make sure I don't bleed over myself. It seems to have, I think it's stopped bleeding, but it does look a bit swollen. Oh boy, it's going to be a painful night. Let's just have a look what the comment section's doing. So, Sticks, I got a single blast of thunder today. Are you talking weather or have you had some wind? Paul Booth, it's blowing a gale up here. It's been pretty nice down this day. We've had it's been a bit all over the place, but fairly mild. It was sort of on and off with rain today. Yeah, same here. Danny Harris, not just that, the big toys come out then. Stompers, Gargants, Gargantuan, Squiggles, Battle Fortresses, stuff you don't see that often on the table. You're talking about Apocalypse. Yes, yeah, true. Oh, blimey, I won't move my foot. Gita Hyping says, yeah, Paul, it was hot for you recently. CM Wargames says, we need to get our game rescheduled too. Not if you're bringing 24 mech guns against me, we don't. Yeah, no, of course we do, Capitan. Definitely. Orcs versus Orcs will be a lot of fun. And I've obviously got to come and take on Nick's Necrons again as well because I need vengeance. He's beaten me a few times now. Stick says, how about you play a FaceTime game? That would be tricky. That would be tricky. Dreadwire Games, don't worry, I'm always here. Oh, I already read that bit. Essex Boys, I would have been lost without this hobby during lockdown. Oh, me too, buddy. Me too. Yes, totally. I think us geeks and hobbyists are the ones that have dealt with it quite well because we've got stuff to keep us occupied and things. So, I spoke about it before, but I must admit, even me, a fairly unsociable person at my best of times, and someone who does enjoy my own company, I have been going a little bit over the last couple of weeks. I have been finding it difficult. Actually, it's been weird, and it's been getting to me a bit. I don't know. You're stuck in the house all day with just the kids and that. It just kind of drive you up the wall a little bit after a while, and it's kind of want some adult company sometimes. But we have certainly dealt with it better. So we got why is Skarner calling me a feckin' pillock? What have I said? Plastic going, how it's Kixie and the big toys on the table. I have no idea why he's calling me a pillock or what I said. Dreadwire says, yep, got all the armor rust primed. Danny Hallis, Plastic Cat Gaming says, Danny Hallis, nothing beats watching two gargants tearing lumps out of each other while hordes of boys clash. Sounds perfect. Any orc's dream, that is. Scotto, well, shit. I pulled a table out of someone's trash the other day and was really excited about it. And I just went to measure it. It's not even side enough for the combat patrol. It's not even big enough for the combat patrol, did you say? Jeez. What is it? Are you sure it's not like a stool? But yeah, if it's not that much smaller, you could put a board on top of the table or something. I mean, if it's just a table you pulled out, just get a board and nail it to the top of it. If you want, just make the table bigger. CM War Game says, I want to hurt him before he gets his new toys, in reference to Nick, I presume, and his Necrons. Yeah, because I imagine they're going to get a buff in power. Plastic Guy Gaming says, Steve-O, you're a pillock for standing on the nail, accident prone git. Yeah, it's not so much a pillock for standing on it, because you couldn't see it under all the stuff. I'm a pillock for probably not wearing the right shoes, because I've had a few close calls out there before already. And I won't lie to you, it's like causing me quite a lot of pain right now. I'm in quite severe pain. So as soon as I finish this live stream, I will be taking some painkillers for sure, because it is throbbing like a bitch. CM War Games also says, "Oh, and we have to face him at his comp if that goes ahead." Yeah, because that was the original reason I was getting my army painted. But actually, depending what he does, if Nick does what he did last time and does 1,000 points, I'm already there. Although it's not it wouldn't be a very competitive one because I don't have enough troops to fill out a battalion detachment. So it'd be like other more specialized detachments. So I wouldn't have very much command points. Under current rules, that's all set to change soon. So yeah, I definitely need to get the grots and the boys painted up as a priority, really, to have a legal battalion painted up. But that was my original target because, like I said, I turned up to Nick's tournament last time, saw some stunningly beautifully painted miniatures, some fairly big time YouTubers there with their stunningly painted armies, and there was me with my grey orcs, and it was shit. It felt shit. I won't lie to you, but lots of fun was had. But I kind of said to myself, right, I've got a year now before Nick's next invitational. And that time I'm turning up with fully painted army, and I'm really close to being there now. And then it became 1,500 with the fellow war bosses rather than 1,000. And then Dread was trying to get it to 2K, but I drew the line there. I'm like, you can fuck off. No, not happening. But with 9th, I might hit it. So there you go. What else is going on in the comments? Dread Wargaming, I think you should do the next episode wrapped in bubble wrap, you accident-prone git. Yeah, I am very accident-prone. It's true. L Curry, in 9th, orcs can't soup, lose CP and costs CP if we soup. Yeah, it does. It's because you pay for detachments basically. In terms of soup. Where you say soup, I presume you mean like different factions, like ally with Imperial Guard or NIDS or whatever. In that case, I think there is some. They haven't been specific, but they've kind of kept talking about soup and how it will cost you CP. Plastic Great Games says, El Curry, too early to tell. You won't know until we have the book in hand. Yeah, very true. We'll all know a week before we get the book in hand because they're all them people that get early copies and they'll be reviewing it and revealing a whole lot to us. So usually now you kind of know the complete ins and outs of a book at least a week before you get it because all the early review copies out there. But yeah, detachments cost, but you get, if the detachment has your warlord in it, you get refunded. So that one's free. But then every other detachment after that costs you CP. So yeah, soup armies, certainly. And this is going to affect some orc players in a negative way. And I'm not talking about the people that are going, oh, I currently have like 18 CP and now I'm only going to have 12. And the Space Marine player or the Custodian Guard usually only have this many. And now they're going to have this many and they're going to trash me or whatever. And blah 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 blah. All right, it just kind of bores me, that talk. But the thing that is going to affect a lot of orc players is the players that like to mix up their clans. And we recently spoke about the clans in our latest episode of the War Bosses of the Apocalypse. Go check that show out because we talked in great length and in great depth about orc clans. And yeah, a fluffy way to play this, and the way a lot of people will play, is they like the different detachments. They like to have their Goths for the fighting, their Bad Moons for the shooting, there's Evil Sons for the mobility and stuff. They like to mix them up and have all different clans within their list, which is a fluffy way to run an orc army. And a lot of people have painted up their armies in various clans, and that is going to be interesting now to see. You're still going to be able to do that, but it's going to penalize you. And so you're going to have to weigh up, like, do I want to lose the CP in order to have these mixed clans within my army, or and gain those benefits, or would I rather stick to one clan and gain more CP? And so yeah, that is going to affect. I mean, it's going to affect all the factions the same. But in terms of orcs, it's in terms of all the other, or most of the other factions anyway. Having one chapter or warband or whatever they're called in the various books is fluffy and kind of true to their style. But with orcs, a lot of the time, it's very fluffy to have mixed soup armies of all the various clans. So yeah, ninth edition is gonna penalize you somewhat for doing that, which is a shame. But this isn't like I'm bitching about ninth for that, because it's like yeah, that's not going to be like a massive case to go, oh, ninth is crap now because I can't do this. Like, no, not really. It's just something to think about, though. It's something to, again, maybe adapt your tactics and the staff and adapt your lists, or just continue using them, except that you are going to have less CP. But there's definitely going to be a lot more CP going around on the battlefield now, because not only do we like start off with a fair few, depends on the size game you're playing, but we gain a CP each battle round as well. Plus, you've still got your abilities of special warlord traits and etc. that give you +1 CP, or refund your CP. You know, you roll a 5+ or a 6+, and you get your CP back that you spent. So we've still got those abilities as well. So there's going to be a lot more stratagems used across, you know, during the game and stuff. And even when you've blown your load early on, like I often do in games, I can start a game with like shitloads of CP sometimes, and by turn 2 or 3, I've spent them all, because I've just gone like bam, 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 and gone real early, hitting hard and fast. And then like the last few turns of the game, I'm struggling as my numbers are dwindling. I've got no CP left. But now gaining that CP each battle round is going to give you the opportunity to, you know, always use at least one stratagem every turn, no matter how frivolous you're being with them. Reroll Joe's in here. He says, I didn't think CP ran out, you know, and a winky face. And you know why that is, don't you, Joe? Because every time we play, Joe plays. So whenever I play Joe, I'm usually either fighting his Deathwing army, or his Thousand Suns army. And I believe both of his armies, or the ones he uses, have the ability to refund CP. So he'll start off the game with like, I don't know, 7 CP, and I'll start off with like 15 CP or something. And I'm like, wicked. So at least I've got, you know, I've got the numbers advantage, I've got the CP advantage, but he rolls them fucking 6s every time and refunds. And I swear to you, almost every game we have, by the end of the game, he's had more CP than me, which is, yeah. Capitan says, no, 9th is good. You'll have to adapt and decide what you want to do. It's going to be a lot more strategic. Yeah, I agree. Just from what I'm hearing at the moment, it sounds far better. It really does. And I think it makes sense that everyone starts off the same, because those elite armies and things, people can throw a lot of mud at them and go, oh, custodians are glory boys or whatever, and that. And I'll do that in banter form, but I don't really mean it. Like, I'm not going to throw mud at someone because they're a Space Marine player or think less of them. I do it in jest. But yeah, they struggle with that because they're so elite. And they're so expensive in terms of miniatures now that they can't do what we do. They can't take like you can take I don't know, for example, 2 weird boys that are pretty cheap, and 3 units of 10 grots, and just spam. You could do that a couple of times over and hardly spend anything, and you have several battalion detachments gaining you fuckloads of CP. And so, yeah, certain armies, and we are one of the best factions for doing that, by the way. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, orcs always have it bad. We don't. Actually, we have it really good in some ways. And gaining fuckloads of CP is one of those ways. We don't get so many chances of regaining it. Unless you're a Blood Axe player, they get a chance. Although their chances is not as good as most other factions, because they only get it back on a 6+. I think a lot of the others get it back on like a 5+. I better get back into the comments because the comments are going crazy. Got 45 people in here. I also upset someone dropped out. Velgarn says 6+2. Actually, we will get more or less the same amount, or at least many of us. Only few factions got more. In 2K, you can have 14 CP +1 if you have Follow Me Lads. Now you start with 12 increasing. Yeah, that's true. So even for us who get a lot, we can go up. I mean, and when I was saying about the thing, I mean, that's going like really beardy, like spamming load, and you'd have to have the miniatures to be able to do it, but you could spam loads of battalion detachments with like our cheapest HQ choices and like just 10-man units of grots. You can really just milk the fuck out of those things. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more stratagems being used on the table, and stratagems have been like a really fun part of 8th, and so it's good that they're expanding on that and encouraging it more. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. Plastic Cat Game says Dim Reaper, he's only getting that hype train started. I didn't know Dim was in here. I didn't see him pop in the chat. Marcus had a message retracted. What have you been saying, Marcus? G the Hypersapien, when I cut myself the other day, it seems some got on a boy. Blood makes a nice wash over green skin. Ooh, that's remind me never to touch any of your miniatures, buddy. Danny Hallis, 50 points for one single custard man. That's custodians at 50 points. Jeez. Yeah, I mean they are like the custodians are like the elite of the elite, aren't they? They're like they make Space Marines look like guardsmen, don't they? I've never played against custodians yet. I've never seen. I'm surprised Joe hasn't already got a custodian guard army. He keeps telling me he would like one, so I imagine it's only a matter of time. Velgarn says, Steve-O, also now only the first detachment is free, the others cost, so in the end you get less. Yeah, I covered that earlier, buddy. Yeah, so the one that your warlord is in, you'll get refunded. But then it also, I noticed in the little teaser one where they show the battalion detachment, and it says there's a section in there where it says bonuses or something. And I think it said in there, like if your warlord is in detachment, it's refunded. So I'm thinking a lot of the other detachments will have different bonuses to that. So maybe, and this is just me spitballing here, like just thinking, like don't take this as facts. This is literally just me thinking what possibilities there are. But maybe not necessarily, that's if you have a battalion detachment, but maybe if like your only detachment is a outrider detachment, maybe that won't have the special rule that you get refunded. Maybe that'll have its own special rule of something else and some other kind of buff, or don't know. But we'll have to see. There's still a lot. We got here. Hi Dim. Everyone's saying hi to Dim. I can't even see him. Was he way back in the comments or something? Did I miss it? So we've got all 4 of the war bosses in here. I don't see Dim anywhere. There he is. It says, sick of 9th ed talk yet, you lot? ? Winky face. Well, quite the opposite, mate. I was talking for 20 minutes before we even got into the actual topic of the show. We've been talking all sorts. You probably would have enjoyed the first 20 minutes more than the rest of the show, Dim. Capitan says, but I am looking at possibly 2 detachments, 1 freebooters and then 1 other. Dave Dog says, anyone ever used the orc skin recipe? White primer, plague bearer flesh, contrast with bale tan green. Any good? If so, that's very specific, Dave Dog. Not me personally, but I'm sure someone in the comments will say if they have. Gaz Koldar is sticking Gazgol Thraka together. I haven't built my Gaz yet. He's still on the sprue, and I stole his base for my big gun. So I'll have to get another big base for him. Velgarn, Steve-O, I think at least the patrol detachment will have the same rule, because starting with less than 3 CP at 500 points is just silly. That's true. I agree with you there. And I think things like probably the patrol, battalion and brigade detachments will have that kind of same rule. But possibly the more specialized detachments will have different rules, or maybe they will all have that rule. It's just funny that they wrote that with the term like special rule. If they were all going to be the same, would they have written it within the detachment bit itself? Otherwise, you're just having to write the same thing over and over and over again. Surely it'd just be a line at the top of the page concerning detachment saying whichever detachment your warlord's in, you get refunded. So it makes me think that you're not necessarily going to get a free detachment if you choose one of the different types of detachments. I don't know what other rules they go in there. I don't know. You might have one that, I don't know. it could give you all sorts of perks and different perks. I'm sure there'll be advantages to having them. I do hope that they do still encourage themed armies and things, because people are like, for example, the Pale Orc. I imagine he uses a lot of Outrider detachments and things, because obviously he's doing an old school biker army. He's doing full-on speed freaks, and so he's very unlikely to be touching the battalion detachments and stuff much. He's going to be going for a lot more Outrider detachments. So hopefully they still balance it in a way that going in that themed route, not in terms of like for power or trying to break the game, but just because that's his theme and his fluffy list. And that hopefully it rewards that rather than penalizes that. What we got going on in here now. Dreadwire Gaming says, how many points do we expect the Stomper to go up by? Oh, if they said that the points are going up on nearly everything, I swear to God, if they put the points up on the Stomper, like maybe if the points stay the same on the Stomper and everything else goes up, it might just scrape through it being almost viable to use on the tabletop. But I highly doubt it. Dim Reaper says, Nav's Hobby Corner. Well, you'll never catch me doing that at this point. I keep missing sections of the conversation, so I have no idea what he's referring to. Velgarn, Dreadwire Gaming, it will be back at 950 points, laughing my arse off. You'll set Skarner off, man. Plastic Rat Gaming, he'll be making a rant video. And that'll be one rant video I could get behind. Velgarn says, El Curry, GSC also need a lot of CPs and they will get less. Genestealer Cult. Yes, I've played against Genestealer Cult in Kill Team. I've never played against them in full scale 40k. I'd like to. They're a very cool faction. El Curry says, what if they make elite units increase in deployment cost by 30% and orcs cost same? Maybe that could make us better. As in, like, our elite units and then the boys stay the same. I don't know. At the moment, to be fair, I mean, there are certain factions I do have trouble with, but I haven't played multiple opponents with those factions. Like, I have trouble against the Necrons. But is that because Necrons kind of fare better than Orcs? Or is it because Nick's just played a better game than me and picked a better list than me? It's probably that, to be fair. I'm sure if I built a stronger list and made smarter decisions in the game, and his list he hadn't chosen so good and was making, not as smart decisions, I could have beaten him. So I wouldn't necessarily, I probably haven't played enough to say that as such. It's very easy to have one game against one opponent and go, oh, your army's overpowered and everything, and loads of people do that. Tons of people do that. I've had people say it to me. I've had Joe say it to me when he lost his temper in a game. Oh, your orcs are overpowered. And I'm like, you're playing Marines, you can fuck off. But I'll use that word, balance. I'm a Libra, see. I'm all about balance. Trigger. But yeah, I think we do okay. I do think that the points increases and stuff. Now, I guarantee you, at the launch of 9th, a lot of the points are probably going to be off. They've been play testing and stuff, but I guarantee you, 6 months down the line, a year down the line, into chapter approved or whatever, we'll have more points balances and stuff because they're going to continue to rebalance the points all the time. But yeah, I do think it's going to be better with everything being more, because like I said in my video the other day, the gap between a Space Marine and an Orc Boy in terms of points is closed and closed and closed, but their stats and abilities haven't really changed that much. And so before, like, I don't know, like before I think you could get a couple of boys for like each Marine, and that's not the case now. Or like Necrons at the time. I mean, they haven't changed a lot more. It's a bit different, but I'm not very good at wording it. But at the very low level of points, it's harder to differentiate between, like, if you made a Space Marine 8 points. Say a Space Marine was 8 points. Where do you then go with Imperial Guardsmen and Grots and Orcs? Like, do they cost 1 point each? Like, there's a floor to it, not a ceiling, as I said last time. Someone corrected me in the comments. So it's better that everything's more expensive, because then we can have more differences at that lower points end of the scale. I'm wording it terribly, but I think hopefully you'll know what I'm attempting to formulate. My vocabulary is not the best. Let's have a see what everyone's saying. So, oh geez, the chat's moving fast. DePaleorc had that with the first 3 games with my Revin Wing. Velgarn 6+ Stevo, yeah, but I still remember when you said we are going to have a fun game, and Nick fielded a monolith. Yeah, and to be fair to him, the monolith is crap. He had 2 monoliths. He had 2 monoliths, and yeah, I think he had 2 monoliths. Yeah, because I took one of them out straight away in my Tank Busters, and that game was a lot closer. And I think I only lost that game because I made a stupid decision and moved a unit off an objective. It was our later game where he used the big giant thing, not the obelisk, the Tesseract Vault. Oh my god, that thing was brutal. And I chose a very fluffy, uncompetitive list against him and got absolutely pounded. Dim Reaper says the make or break for 9th is if it still ultimately goes down to the better list. If you can't outplay a superior opponent, 9th isn't different enough from 8th. Yeah, they've done a lot of talk about this in their reveals and stuff, and said like how things like secondary objectives will help with this, because you can tailor the objectives to suit your list, your play style, yeah, I think in terms of the way the missions are structured and everyone getting a fair shake of CP and stuff, and there being a cap on the points as well that you can earn each turn. So one player can't like completely dominate you and leave you like so far behind that you've got no chance of catching up. So they are really working to balance that a bit more. And yeah, it feels like 9th you'll see a lot more closer game stuff, because you do see some games of 8th, and I've heard a lot of people saying that I was wiped off the table turn 2 or turn 3 and stuff. I'm like, geez, like I don't think I've ever had that happen to me, and if I have, it's been Nick that's done it. Most games I play, nearly all games I play, usually go the distance. It's quite rare that someone's wiped off the table. But we, even though me and Joe do play fairly competitively, we don't kind of min-max the list too much. We're not really playing at tournament level. We're still kind of generally playing for fun and that. So maybe, you know, I think that does happen at that sort of level sometimes, when people have really gone into like exactly like fine-tuned their list of exactly what is the best things in terms of points and stuff. Dim Reaper said, Monolith is getting a new model. No fear of it being crap now. You are 100% correct. I said it before. The Monolith, Destroyers, Warriors are, I mean, Destroyers are still fucking nasty right now. One of my most hated units to come across on the table. But yeah, Necron Warriors, no Necron players use them at the moment because there's no point, because Immortals are so much better. But I guarantee you, with new miniatures, they're going to have some amazing new rules. The same with the Monolith as well. And Nick said it on his videos. The reason the Monolith rules are crap is because GW don't want to sell them. They don't want to make any more. And they've obviously known for a good few years now that they're refreshing the range and updating it and stuff. But yeah, it's Necrons are going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think. Come this new edition, Necrons are going to be a serious threat and have some serious buffs. Nav's Hobby Corner. Wasn't that the game where he forgot about the Tesla 6s, the Monolith game? Possibly, mate. You'd have to go back and rewatch the battle report because I can't remember. I just remember me making a stupid decision of moving one unit off an objective and losing that 1 point, and I think he beat me by 1 point. Otherwise, it would have been a draw. Dim Reaper says that's still largely pre-game planning, or in terms of the missions and stuff and that, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I feel games, I can only talk from my experiences of playing the game, and I've had very few games where I felt like I lost before the game started, if that makes sense. Like I just chose the wrong list, and that's why I lost the game. I have had very few games like that. Just like I said, against that one game against Nick, that did happen, I think. I chose the wrong list. Nick chose the right list and battered me. But that's been rare in my cases. I think most of the time I can put my losses down to making bad decisions during the game, or just my opponent making better decisions, or the luck of the dice not being on your side. That's a regular thing. You know, the best plans can go down the shitter if you keep rolling those ones. I've had a few games like that. Certainly those key rolls and stuff where you really need it to come together, and you just have those turns that just go horrendously bad. What do we got here? Shin-chan, we need faster troop options, maybe better rules or less points for bikers and storm boys. And I'd love a stratagem for transports to release troops after movement. I transports are a funny thing. One thing that I do dislike about 8th is that it's probably not quite the same for other factions, or at least all the other factions. I can't really comment for them. But in terms of Orcs, we used to use our trucks to get the boys right up the field fast and get them into combat fast. And that's kind of what their fluff and stuff is all about. They jump in the trucks so they can reach the front line quicker. That doesn't work in 8th. You're just much better off charging up the field, and you get into combat just as quick, if not quicker. Trucks are now used as mobile firing platforms, which is cool. And I guess Orcs would do that if they, certain Orcs would do that. But yeah, I do think transports do need a tweak and a fix. And hell, they haven't spoke about it yet. It's something that would be within the game's rules rather than your codex rules. So it's something they've talked about, improving vehicles and making them better. They haven't yet spoken about transports. So that could be something that it would be. I would like to see transports used as transports rather than mobile firing platforms. I mean, that's just our transports as well. Like things like rhinos and chimeras and stuff. They're not even open tops. They can't even do that. So they must be like I never see anyone using rhinos or things like that. So yeah, hopefully they do fix transports. I think they need a fix. They do need a fix, I think. What's going on in the chat then? Hobbygit, time to confuse everybody. Swaps from dim account to Hobbygit account. That's fine, Hobbygit. We all know you. We know you've got your dim, aka Hobbygit. El Kuki. I play Necrons once a week, and they are a tough match for Orcs. Don't sleep on Catans and Tesla guns. Yeah, Tesla guns are horrendous for Orcs. They're the ultimate counter for hordes of boys. You charge headlong with 30 boys into a squad of immortals armed with Tesla. Yeah, bye 30 boys, pretty much. Capitan, yeah, 9th mission will be all about getting your secondaries right. Yeah, secondaries is definitely going to be a key thing, definitely. And I really love that. I love how you can. That's a really clever addition to the rules, and I really like that. That sounds fun and fluffy and more balanced. It just ticks every box, and I think that could be really good. Essex boys, I always struggle against Dark Eldar as they always have like 18 CP and are super mobile. I haven't played against Dark Eldar since 5th edition. Used to play against them a lot. So I haven't played against them recently. So I know they're very different now, what they used to be like. The Hobbygit says, wouldn't be surprised if 9th has a transport overhaul. I hope so, mate. I hope so. They tend to take turns over nerfing and over buffing. Have done since 3rd. Yeah, that's true. Things that are doing crap now, they do that. and they've spoken this ninth edition talking about melee, and they haven't gone into much detail on it yet, any detail really, but they have spoke about melee and making it stronger. And I hope they don't flip the tables, and because like 8th shooting is the king, and I like, so shooting's up here, melee's down here, and what I hope ninth will do is bring melee up here. I don't want it to go like that, because we've had editions before. I remember playing older games where melee was king, and it does seem funny when you're fighting in a sci-fi universe and that, and bringing an axe. I don't know. There's the whole saying, isn't there? Bringing a knife to a gunfight, and that's not. It's not to say that I don't want melee to be good, because I do, but I just don't want it to overtake shooting. I just need it to be bumped up a bit, because we need something. We suffer Overwatch. We've got much more powerful guns in the game now. Guns fire many more shots, dish out many more wounds. So having endured all of that on your way into melee, you want it that once you do hit melee, that you are gonna fuck shit up. And I've had it before where I've charged in with boys against certain units and that, and thrown fuckloads of dice and that, and then nothing's happened. So yeah, I would like to see melee get some kind of boost so it balances it out. You know, you still got to endure that Overwatch, you still got to endure that shooting, but once you have got through that, if you manage to survive that and get into combat, once you're in combat, it should be pretty quick and decisive and savage, and just brutalize people. That's what I'd like to see anyway. So we got Hobbygit says, fuck it, I'll go further. Bring back USRs. Too many rules hidden in codices. USRs like universal special rules. There you go. Universal special rules. Yes and no. I'm somewhere in the middle on that, because universal special rules were cool in that way. It did simplify it. Like feel no pain was just feel no pain for everyone, and it was just a flat universal special rule. But what I do like about those rules in the codices or in the data sheets is that feel no pain can be different. So something can get a 6+ feel no pain, and something else can get a 4+ feel no pain, because it's, I don't know, like I don't know the rules, but say like a Nurgle Death Guard or whatever, he's got the special rule and he's going to be a bit better, and maybe like an Orc being patched up isn't going to be quite as resilient as that Nurgle Death Guard Marine, so he will have a 6+ feel no pain, whereas that, so it's better in that respect, that you can have a similar rule but it can be slightly different. And also just that sometimes those universal special rules don't necessarily fit that one unit as well as they do the other 10 units that have that same universal special rule. But certainly I think some things, it's better in that way, but it is more confusing in a way, because you're having to remember, like, oh, this has got the rule disgustingly resilient, oh, and this has got the rule this, and this has got all this, and they're all the same rule with different titles. That can get a bit confusing at times. And so yes, some special rules now can be a bit more tricky. I think there are certain rules that could go back to being universal special rules for sure. It's, I don't know, whichever way you go, they've both got their pros and cons, I think. But I mean, at least when it's not, I think at least when it's not universal special rules, it's just the rules within the codex entry. If that unit changes, you can just change that rule for them, rather than having to change the universal special rule, which then have a knock-on effect on all the codexes and stuff, you know. It's a difficult one. Nav's Hobby Corner, is it okay to take another song for the melody for the coffee song, or would that be cheating? Sure, mate, sure. I bet he's working on it right now. I'm looking forward to hearing it. Essex Boys, assault out of transport after it's moved would be lovely. Yeah, it would. It's certainly on things like, we used to have like good rules like that out of like open top vehicles, like you could assault out of an open top vehicle and things. I don't think they've ever really nailed. I don't really ever remember an edition where transports were really had that. I don't feel like they've ever delivered what they kind of do in the fluff. You read about things like a Land Raider or a Rhino or even a truck. you read about them in the stories and stuff, and they come herring out the thing through fire and then disgorge loads of troops, and suddenly it sends the enemy into disarray and stuff. You don't get that really on the tabletop with transports. And so, yeah, like Dim said, I hope transports do get a big overhaul. And with their focus on vehicles, that could be a strong possibility. Stick says, all right, I'm going to bugger off now. Bye. See you later, Sticks. Thanks for joining us. Nabs Hobby Corner, no, I don't want to wake up the neighbours. He's going to be blasting out his coffee and hype train song. The payload assault transports need to be a thing. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The Hobby Get says they did in third a little too well. Oh, you're taking me right back there. Like I've said before, third, fourth, and fifth all kind of blend into one for me. But yeah, I do remember sort of changes to the rules and things of them. Yeah, I can't really remember the exact rules, but yeah, we do need transports to be better, not just be firing platforms. I don't like we're lucky that our transports are open topped, that we still get some kind of use out of them. What is there anyone in here that plays Space Marines or Imperial Guard or whatever that uses like chimeras and rhinos? What do you use them for? Like seriously, what do you use them for? Rhino Rush was famous. Hobby Get, yes, you are correct actually. Yeah. The good old Rhino Rush. Guys, look at them old terms, isn't it? Like can wall, Rhino Rush, and all those little terms that you don't hear about so much now with the rules changes. But what do they do with them now? They must just be pointless, just completely pointless. Chimeras will have firing slots, most likely. Yeah. But I bet they're not used like they're supposed to be used. Nivet Russell says, I was told they are pointless, essentially. Yeah, I haven't met a Space Marine player. I haven't played a Space Marine player who's used rhinos against me at all this edition. Not once. Very rarely do I actually come up against vehicles, actually. Most of the time, because people know I'm packing a lot of tank busters, and they're like, fuck that. I'm not going through that again. Essex Boy says, I use rhinos for my Death Guard to keep Marines alive turn 1. And I bet that's pretty much all you use them for, isn't it, buddy? Mind you, Chaos ones are better. I remember my Chaos army back in the day. I kitted all my rhinos with Havoc launchers. Back when Havoc launcher, I don't know what Havoc launchers are like now, but they used to do like I think they did like the small blast marker. They were good. Like Havoc launchers were really good back then. I have no idea what they're like now. But I used to literally use my rhinos as little mobile cheap anti-troop killing platforms, and just sat them at the back of the board, firing those Havoc launchers over. And they used to, pop off like 2 or 3 guys a turn. They used to be good. Skarna says line of sight blocking terrain. Probably literally mobile terrain. Just park them in front of your troops to, yeah. Ivan Laundry, we need a transport of 20 or 30 boys and fast, not a battle wagon. You can make a battle wagon pretty fast now. If you give it the custom job and make it Evil Sons, you can make them pretty fast. But that's what they need to do. Trucks aren't fast enough, I don't think. I remember trucks being like stupidly fast. I remember trucks being able to like turbo boost and like just go hell for leather. And you were penalised to a certain degree on them and that. But yeah, they're just not fast enough now because like boys are fast. I know that people say, oh, they're only 5-inch movement and that, but that's kind of irrelevant because we're always advancing and they're fast, like, 5 inches plus D6. And that's if you're certain clans like Evil Sons or whatever, you're getting even faster than that. But yeah, we're fast on foot. So the trucks are just pointless. We need trucks to be really, really fast. And yes, some kind of way that you can jump out and assault on the turn, something. It needs something. Plastic Rat Gamer says, we used to have a fast transport for 20, was the Skullhammer Battle Fortress back when it first came out for Apocalypse. Its whole shtick was being a supercharged Baneblade. Yeah, bring that back. Bring that back, GW. And I think they did bring it back for the Apocalypse game, didn't they? I'm pretty sure. I think a lot of things got rules and stuff and points and everything in Apocalypse, but not for not for normal 40k. But yeah. So I'm just looking down at my foot again because it's still in intense pain right now. I'm a little concerned about it, if I'm honest with you. So where are we getting up to now? Hour and 25 minutes. I'll continue on for a bit further. I was going to do a little bit of painting through this, but I won't because the chat's going so crazy that I just won't be able to keep up with all the chit chat that's going on. Ian Wilson said, I had first game today, taking me ages to get my head around 8th rules, and now more. Was that your first game of 8th then, buddy? Have you literally just started? Because love them or hate them, I always found one thing I can always say about 8th is that I found them different, very different from like 7th edition, very different. But although they were very different, I found it very easy to get to grips with them all. There were some things that, took a couple of games to get learn and retain the information. But yeah, generally, I don't think many people's, even the critics of 8th, I don't think their complaints of 8th is that it's difficult to kind of learn and play the game. I think the actual core rules of the game itself is pretty simple. I think some of the confusion and things comes from just like having to flip back through all your data sheets constantly to see each unit's, like Dim was saying earlier, their special rules, and then finding out that they're essentially all universal special rules, and they've just got different titles, but they're all basically the same fucking rule. What we got here going on? Minutes on the Sun's here. He's saying hello to Nav. Minutes on the Sun watched you on Scar's Hobby Hangout, man. Cracking video. I've never seen any of your content before. But yeah, you came across like a really cool guy, mate, and so I look forward to looking at your content and checking it out. And yeah, I learned a lot listening to that video actually, and it was a real cool video. And I know that there was a lot of positive comments in that, so I know Scar would like to have you back on, and I know his viewers, myself included, would like to have you back on the show. Plastic Rat Gaming says 6 plus Stevo. So do you think we'll be getting new kits for 9th Ed? And if so, which ones? Short answer, yes. Long answer is yeah, but God knows. God only knows. Yeah, we're going to get that new boys kit at some point, and I reckon it probably will be this edition. I don't think it'll be this year. It might be, but I don't know. Yeah, they're gonna update it, and it's just I don't even want to think about it. I don't even like thinking about it because it's scary as hell. It's scary as hell because they could fucking nail it and make it really good, and they could screw it up massively. So yeah, it's I just seen Hobby get there. They're quite just going bye posing. Hopefully not. I mean, aesthetically, kits they come out with now are great. And what fills me with confidence is that lots of other factions have had new kits that are very posable and have multi-parts and things in. So that fills me with confidence because when they were releasing all of these buggies and stuff, when they were doing all that, these all look great. They're fantastic looking miniatures. All the buggies look really cool. Not many people can deny that. Some would, but it's the posability and the modularity and the conversion possibilities and the kit bashing possibilities that we lose. And that's my big worry. I don't really have any concerns that they will mess up the look of them. I imagine they'll do a really good job like they do with most of their kits, and they'll look good. But it's that posability and interchangeability and posability that I would like to keep. I don't mind it so much on things like Ghazghkull Thraka and special characters and stuff. And even generic lords, I kind of have a bit of an issue with it with them. I prefer modularity and stuff. But even like characters and stuff, I can live with. I'd prefer posability, but I can live with it. But units like buggies and troops and stuff, like I want options and I want posability. And I want if I buy 2 of this, I want to be able to make them both look different. And you can do that because I've done it with mine. I've just swapped the heads on. But those heads didn't come from that kit. They came from different kits. That's yeah. I worry about that, and I would be watching with great interest and trepidation when they come round to upgrading and changing the orcs. Don't even want to think about it. Let's move on. Plastic Crack Gaming says the new Gazzy model with the old school head looks really good. Was shocked in how small the new one is in comparison. I think I've seen one done with the old head. That's cool. I have to have a look out for that. The old Gazgol head is really cool. Scotto, I only got to play 2 games of 8th before lockdown, and up until last month, I was still figuring out rules I fucked up and cool stuff I missed. Nibbit Russell, I seriously want new looters. I need some, but really dislike the models. I don't dislike them. They're not one of my favourite miniatures in the Orc Army. I do dislike them, but not because they don't look good. I dislike them for reasons that Plastic Crack Gaming will relate to at the moment. Is they look horrendous to paint, and they look like you're going to need to do them in sub-assemblies to be able to do them well. And they just, I don't know, they just and then another reason I don't have them in my army up till this point, I still don't have any in my army, is because everyone was using them at the start of 8th. Like everyone, like literally every orc like forum or Facebook group or anything you went into, everyone was like, "You got to have loads of looters. That's how you play your orc army." It's like, what? Yeah, if you want to win at all costs, you don't give a fuck about the character of your army. Now, there's nothing wrong with having loads of them, but I just hate that cookie cutter. Like, this is the list. This is what you should have. And it's just very unimaginative and dull. And I'm not in it for that. Just like, what's powerful? I'm going to buy hundreds of that. It's just not my style. And I kind of like to be different. And at the time, there wasn't many people, even though they were really powerful and really good. Tank Busters were overlooked for a long time. And no one was talking about them. And I'm like, does no one realize like how fucking like ludicrously powerful tank busters are? People have slowly caught on. Now loads of people are using tank busters, and they're kind of up there with looters now, and lots of people love using them. But yeah, for a long time in the early days of 8th, no one was using tank busters. Like no one even considered them being like really good, which I always found weird. But it's funny the things that the community like jump on and spam the fuck out of, and then other things that they completely miss that are like really good. What we got here, Hobbygit, they didn't really think, don't know what that's in reference to because I've missed the first part of the conversation. Minutes on the Sun, current boys kit is timeless. It is, because it has been with us longer than some of our orc players have been alive. And it's still awesome. It's still a cracking kit. It really is. Now, I've got nothing against GW updating some of these good kits that we currently have, but please, GW, why am I saying that? They're not listening to this. They're not watching me. But please don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Like, one, don't make them look like orcs with a C. Don't make them look like Warcraft orcs or Lord of the Rings orcs. We don't want that. And I know some people ask for that. Ignore them. They're idiots. We want the big ape-like, hunched over, classic orcs. Keep them with that aesthetic. I think they would do that anyway. But don't make them stand more upright. I like them hunched over. Don't make them stand. Don't scale them up to stupid sizes. And don't lose that modularity. I don't want like a kit. Well, the worst thing that could happen would be like the new boys kit comes out and you get like 5 boys in there or something ludicrous, and they're all like leaping off of like logs or like bricks or whatever, and they've got one tiny little bit on the base where their foot's barely attached, and they're like leaping off in these massive dynamic poses, and they look fantastic in that, but they all look a bit skinnier and a bit leaner and a bit more scaled up, and like, but then they're just literally all like and I don't think they, because they, I can't see them doing that with orc boys. I really can't, because they're still a horde army and you're still going to have loads of them and stuff, so I can't see them doing that with them. But I can see them doing that with things like tank busters and things like commandos and burners and things like that. Some of the more specialized stuff. what's really good about our current range, the vast majority of it is the interchangeability and stuff. So yeah, I just Velgarn says 6 plus Steve. I think because Tank Busters got better when the Codex arrived, or maybe people didn't figure them out yet. Yeah, they definitely improved when the Codex arrived because with the inclusion of stratagems and stuff. But even in the Index, Tank Busters were really, really good. They did get a whole lot better when the Codex arrived for sure. But even then, even at that point, people were still banging on about looters. No one was mentioning Tank Busters. And I didn't see them in many lists, but I'd see them in a lot of lists now. The hobby git. Don't say that, Steve-O. You're kind of a big deal, you know. Well, it's very nice of you to say to him. It's very nice of you to say. Rivets and Dakar says Brian Nelson Orcs. Yes. Rivets and Dakar, I was chatting about you earlier, man. I was singing your channel's praises, buddy. So hopefully that got you a few subs and a few people over to go and check you out. Because I was waxing lyrical about your channel. I'm loving what you're putting out at the moment, mate. I've got to say, I'm absolutely loving it. Mostly Zen says, I even got some lightning claws for a knob to use. Cool. Marcus says, modularity is key. It definitely is. Paul Booth says, Mad Doc creates the Primaris knobs. I wouldn't mind some kind of scaled up orcs in like an incredibly specialized unit. Like if they brought out like Gazzy's Bully Boys or something and they were like just proper hulked up, or like say Mad Doc Grotznik got an update and he had a special retinue. So you could have him. And if you had him, you had like his special, like beefed up fucking like hulking fucking roided up knobs that have like been injected and stitched up and patched up also. That would be kind of cool, but not for your generic knobs. They're scaled just right. I think they're on the sweet spot. I don't need to do anything with the scale. Lots of Brian Nelson fans in here. What's going on? Marcus says, I plan to get some of the bruisers to use as Scar Boys. Nice. Nav's Hobby Corner. I hope that they'll add some more boys to the boys kit, 15 to 20 or something. Keep dreaming, Nav. It's not going to happen, mate. I too would love that, and you are right. That would be cool. If they did that now with today's prices, it would be ludicrously expensive, and they're just not going to do it. It's highly unlikely. It's not impossible, but it's just highly unlikely. I imagine when they do the boys kit, I bet you any money it will drop from 11 to 10. We'll get 10 in the kit, but it won't be 11 anymore. It's always nice getting 11. You get that like bonus one, you know, which is always it's always nice to have. Dreadwild Gaming says, I've got a bit of a personal shout out for Rivets and Dakar on my Sunday stream. The Git sent Dread some goodies. I saw that he was sending you some goodies, mate. So I look forward to seeing that. The Hobby Git, they will make New Boys monopose. Oof. You'll trust Dim to bring the doom and gloom. 2 reasons. 1, to screw over third party. Yeah. 2, to screw over orc players from converting them into specialist orc units like commandos and burners. Do you know what they could go some way to doing that by making each kit I don't know. You could lose the modularity without losing the posability, just because of like I don't know, like if you look at the Age of Sigmar, a lot of their orcs, they fit in a very different way, but you could still get some various poses and stuff out of them. But they're a lot harder to mix with other kits because they combine in a different way. So they could go for some sort of middle ground like that. But no, I don't know. Let's just not think about it. We're not there yet. They've not talked about releasing, updating the orcs or whatever. So let's just not worry about it. We'll worry about it when it comes to that. Let's not think about it. Plastic Rat Gaming says, 6 plus Stevo, maybe they'll do what they did with AOS, give standard boys the boot and use knobs as troops. I don't think they'd do that for 40k orcs. I don't think they would. It just, I don't know. I can't see it them doing that. I think they will still try and keep it as a horde army. And I mean, it's in their benefit in a way to do that, because then they sell fuckloads of kits. I mean, how many boys' kits do they sell? It's probably why they're in no rush to update it, because they sell fuckloads of them because everyone wants hundreds and hundreds of boys. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think making the Orcs a more elite army would actually be beneficial to GW in terms of just sales numbers and stuff. Velgar says GW knows Orc players love kit bashing. I think they do now. They didn't when they released all these, did they? They fucking dropped the ball then. I mean, shit. I made my most rantiest rant video ever when that happened. I went full on fucking rant mode on GW there, because it was just. And don't get me wrong, I'm looking at this Death Killer Watch right now, and I'm loving it. And I do want to get another one to turn it into something else, but that's going to take some chopping and filing and cutting and stuff. But yeah, it's they didn't know it then. Bill Cunningham, you know that's going to do that. Okay. The hobby kit, I really don't like being right in this instance. Really don't want to be. We're all with you there, hobby. We all hope you are wrong. What you've said is my biggest fear. And like I say, the buggies they released before filled me with trepidation that's what they were going to do. But looking at other kits like Sisters of Battle recently, all their updates and stuff and kits, and there's a lot of posability and a lot of modularity and a lot of choice of parts in those kits. Probably far less than we used to get in some kits, but it's positive to see them still doing that. And I don't know, let's just see what happens. It could be years away now anyway. Ian Wilson goes on eBay and buys 5 boxes of boys. Gaz Goldar, yeah, GW won't do that. They know the community would go into meltdown. I think they do. And that they do listen. And I think when they did the last, survey thing, we were very vocal. I think Orc players are very vocal. The hobby kit and GW hates that we love kit bashing. Yeah, they do. They do seem to these days. To a degree anyway. I mean, at least the thing is though, if GW keep their kits modular, I've done loads of kit bashing and conversions in my army, and I've used very few third-party bits. There's very few third-party bits in my army. It's nearly all GW stuff. So I've still been buying their shit to do it. So I think actually by keeping them modular and stuff, even the kit bashers and stuff, like if the two kits mash up well, we will keep buying them, because for me personally, if a kit is got loads of parts and is easy to kit bash and modular with other kits, I will buy more of them. I will buy several mech guns because I can use those parts to kit bash. I will buy several trucks because I can use them for various parts. I will buy loads of boys kits, and I don't have any burners or looters in my army, but I've bought that kit a good couple of times now because I've used it to make tank busters with. So you're not only selling it to the people that want that kit, but you're selling it to all the people that want to use the kit for other shit. So hopefully they realize that. Plastic Rat Gaming says, oh, it would still be a horde army, just getting you to buy 5 at a time. Yeah, you got a point there, mate. You got a point there. Jeez. Gaz Golder, GW show Orc kit bashing in the White Dwarves. Well, at least until a few years ago. Yeah, no, they still have. They still do. They in one of the recent issue, during the October, I got the White Dwarf, and it was talking about kit bashing. It was talking about looted wagons. It was talking about grot carts and all kinds of good shit, all for open play. They seem to have stopped banging on about open play so much these days, and hopefully that's gone the way of the dodo, and hopefully 9th edition will just see that gone, and they won't waste any more of their resources on a pointless thing. In literally just put a paragraph in the book, open play, just put a paragraph under the title, open play, and just write a short little sentence there saying, do what the fuck you want. End of. There's the rules for open play for you. Moving on. Let's not touch on it again. because that's all it needs to be. Literally, open play rules. Do what the fuck you want. That's all open play is. And we've always been able to do that. We don't need pages and pages of rules and GW's resources, time and money spent on doing a whole load of rule sets to tell us we can do whatever the hell we want. We've always been able to do that. You can always ignore the rule book. You can play, you can do whatever you want. It's your game. You can do what you want. You don't need special rules to tell you that. It's open play was bollocks. Narrative play, no issue with that. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, open play can fuck off. And I wouldn't have had an issue with open play if it hadn't taken stuff away from match play. Like if open play had been there, but we still had points for looted wagons, and we still had points for stuff, and we were still allowed to use them in match play, I wouldn't have had an issue with open play. I'd have gone, well, it's pointless, but I don't care. It doesn't affect me. But because it had an effect on me, it was dividing the player base into like different camps, which I don't think is a good thing, and it was taking stuff away from me. A system of the game that I had no interest in playing was stealing stuff from me. Like, why do they get looted wagons? Why do they get all this shit, like all the cool shit? Because they're just playing some bollocks version of the game that's got no semblance of balance to it at all. Like, I don't know. I'm probably going to upset a few of the, like, there might be the one person that plays open play in here getting angry at me. Let's read along. So Pastor Gamer says, I wonder if many players would go full tilt like that chap who burned his Dark Elves army way back when the old world was destroyed. No, look, listen, no matter how sick you get of the game or GW as a company or whatever, say 9th edition comes out and it disgusts you, it repels you, and it makes you livid, it makes you want to go and fucking join the riots. Don't burn your army, sell your army, sell it or put it in the loft and wait for the next edition to come out that you like better. Never ever burn your army, because they don't lose their value. They're still worth a lot of money. So sell it. What have we got going? Ivan Landry. If the Silent King get back, GW will bring us back the Krork. After all, they fight the Metal Men in the lore. Yeah, I don't want them to. I don't want the Krork. Yeah, I don't want that. I just don't want them. I don't want them because, like I say, like Scar said earlier, we will no longer be a horde army. We'll be like a mass. Like, I just don't. It's not what orcs are about. I just don't want them. I don't want them all to be massive. Don't do that, GW. I think that it's the things like talking about the Krork and talking about things like that in like that millions of years in the past. Is and like things like them, it's like the two missing Primarchs. I like them because they leave that bit for your imagination to go to and explore and do. You don't need to, because it was mentioned and it's talked about, you don't need to always make it a reality on the tabletop, because I don't know. It's like, I don't know, like if the Emperor wakes up and they make a miniature for him on the table, I don't know, I just don't want that. I don't want that. The Hobby Git, Steve-O, sadly, many GW fans need to be told that. The Hobby Git, orcs are the Krork. Well, what's left of them? Yeah, they are. So, and I mean, Voldemort, in his lore video, I really liked his lore video, and he talked about how they are, that with Gaz leading them and stuff, that he's sort of hinting at that they will eventually evolve. As they grow, they will eventually evolve back into the Krork, and that's kind of cool from an imagination lore perspective. But I don't want to see it happen to my miniatures range. I like it to be just an intriguing thing to set your imagination off. We don't actually need to physically go there. Leave some things in the lore as just to set your imagination, alight and stuff. I don't know. Maybe seeing things like. I don't know, maybe seeing some things like these, like, I don't know, like if they went into like the Horus Heresy, like 30k, and you get some like things like the Ulanor orcs and stuff, like you could do it like that in a different game system. That'd be quite cool. What have we got going here? Plastic Crack Gaming says Open Play was the graveyard for stuff they no longer wanted to support. I thought that was Legends. The Hobby Git. Snotlings going back into Brain Boys could be fun. Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure it fits with the current law, but I'm trying really hard not to set you off now because I know how passionate you are on that one. Paul Worth, if ninth that bad, revert to 8th. Well, yeah, but no one really does that, do they? There are people that still play older editions, but trust me, mate, unless they're playing with their same friends over again, they can't find anyone who wants to play them. They can't. It's all well and good. It's you. Dim, we were chatting a little while ago actually privately, and Dim made a really good point actually, and he said even though he didn't enjoy 8th, he would have rather played an older edition of the game. He said he wouldn't do that because he would feel that would be unfair on the people he's playing with, to make them learn an old system or a different system just to be able to have the privilege of being able to play him and stuff, and then they have to then retain several game systems in their head. It's not feasible. It's not feasible in the same way as fan written rules and things like that. It's all well and good dreaming of someone else can write a set of rules and they'll be better than GW's rules. Well, in whose eyes? They're not. In your eyes possibly, but not everyone's, because a lot of people loads of people like the 8th edition rules, loads of people. It's massively successful, and so that you're never going to write a rule set that everyone's going to like. And one of the main reasons why we all find so many opponents to play, a lot of us anyway, some people still have struggle finding people to play, is because we've got this one big rule set worldwide by this massive company that a lot of us have issues with, some more than others. But the reason this massive company that has this huge game that is at the top in terms of sales and stuff in the wargaming world, the reason why that's a good thing is because you can go anywhere and find people to play it with you. Smaller game systems and stuff, you're going to be hard pushed. And even in the world out there, because we're outnumbered by the normies, we still are, us nerds are still outnumbered by them, it can still be quite hard to find a game. Can you imagine if there was broken down into loads of different systems now? You could find a war gamer and go, oh, do you want to play? No, I don't play that. I only play 5th. Or I don't play that game system. I play these fan written rules now. Guess what? No one's going to play it. You're not going to have anyone to play with. So you can't really say that. So I kind of get why some people get really angry when a new edition comes out and they don't like it. And people will say to them, well, if you don't like it, play an older edition. But they can't do that because then they've got no one to play with. So they're stuck with it, whether they like it or not. And I think that's why some people get really angry when new editions and stuff come out. Because they're whatever edition it be, whatever editions you're a fan of or a critic of, you kind of got the choice. Either I play this edition that I don't like, or I just kind of don't play the game, because it's unlikely I'm going to find many people that are going to want to play an older edition with me. Within a few weeks of 9th being out, you're not going to find people that want to play 8th. You're not, because everyone's going to be wanting to play 9th. You might find one or two of you, but you ain't going to be able to go around and play. So it's, yeah. So what's going on? I've covered a lot there, so I imagine the chat's been responding and making various points. So let's take a look at what's going on in the chat. Okay, so Gene Gordon says, still live? I thought I'd missed it. No, I'm still here, buddy. I'm heading towards that 2-hour mark, so I will be bringing it to a close fairly soon. I usually like to cap it at around the 2-hour mark, so we're on 1 hour 55 minutes, so I'll go for a little bit longer yet. I'm just about to read through these comments and see what people are saying. Scotto, that's how I feel every time someone says, well, it's in Legends, and I'm like, yeah, and it might as well be in the trash. Well, you say that, buddy, but Legends is still usable in 9th, so that's happy days. And remember when they said that then they're not going to fix any of the points or make any adjustments to Legends. But they've said that Legends is still usable in 9th, and all the points for everything's going up in 9th. So suddenly those Legends units are going to be like really fucking powerful, which is both good and bad, because now, they're going to be really good because they're going to be undercosted compared to everything else. But that's going to make a lot of people not want you to include Legends units. So I don't know, maybe they will do an adjustment on it if they've gone through the trouble of saying Legends still usable in 9th. Great, but if you bump the points of everything else up, you kind of need to do that with Legends as well. Maybe they will, but they did say right from the beginning that we put them in this book, we're never touching them again. There you go, they're there. But they are designed just for fun games anyway, so then you can't use them in tournaments and stuff anyway. But where was I? Mostly Zen. Our ancient lizard overlords made the Krork. Orcs are what's left. The lizards ours. Our ancient lizard overlords, meaning the old ones, I guess, made the Krork. Yeah. Orcs are what's left. The lizards ours. I think you meant the lizards aren't, maybe, that they're gone. Yeah, the old ones are gone, but the orcs are still there. Yeah, the orcs are the remnants of the Krork. They kind of devolved into them. But yeah, I think there is certainly scope for them to evolve back into them as like, you listen to Voldemort's lore video on the orcs, he covers it really well. He does it in a really good way. And from a lore perspective, I like that, but I just don't want to see it in the game. Realm Weaver Gaming. I hope they bring back Wazdaka and Nazdreg in 9th edition. So do I, more than anything. We need more characters. We do need more characters. We need characters like the Necrons. They get more named characters this edition. Like the Necrons must at this point have more named characters than any other faction. Even Space Marines at this point. It's crazy how many named characters Necrons have for something that's kind of like a. That started out life as a faceless, emotionless, personalityless army. That's what they were all about. And suddenly they got revamped. And they got fucking characters coming out the bloody woodwork all over the bloody place. It's weird with Necrons. My issue with modern day Necrons is that they have too much character, which I wouldn't really say that about any other faction. I like Necrons to be kind of bland in that way of like emotionless, and I think that makes them more scary personally. As soon as you can relate to something and understand it, it's far less scary. And I think what made the original Necrons so terrifying was that they had this mystery and aura around them, and no one knew what they were up to. They just appeared, gauze flared everyone to death, and then disappeared. And left people just not knowing what the hell went on. And they were like from so far in the. They were. I loved their lore back then. I'm not a big fan of current Necron lore, but I do like the miniatures. Let's have a look what else is saying. Mostly saying the lizards are going to wake up again. The Hobbygit, it's in Legends, aka when the next codex is out in a year, the whole thing is gone. Well. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, my worry was that they'd be gone at the start of a new edition, and just the fact that they bothered to say it, it's still there. I don't think they will. I don't think they will kill Legends off. I think they've stated right from the beginning they won't be in tournaments, and that'll stick. And a lot of people won't use them because of that. But a lot of us will continue to use them in our fun games, and we've still got the rules for them and stuff. And so. I think they will still be around in the case they are. At some point when the game gets a big revamp, when it's changed to the point that those data sheets are no longer usable with it, like if they add another stat, they could do like another clean slate in years and years' time, then I will see Legends disappear and those miniatures properly be gone. But Scott, I'd love to see some Bad Moons HQ characters. Yes, you're on the right channel for that, buddy. Dreadwild Gaming, talking of painting our lists, I just cleaned the airbrush, so I'm cracking on with some painting now. Good stuff, Dread. You got some catching up to do, buddy. Hobbygit, I'm right. They're brain boys. Hobbygit, gonna dig in on that one. You dig in away, buddy. You dig in away. I think I like it. I like the point that the law will be left open on that one, that there won't be, and they've never really stated anything as fact, have they? I don't think they've ever stated that this is it. They've talked about that the old ones creating the Krork to fight the Necrons, and then we've got the other alternative that the Brain Boys created the Orcs, and then they somehow the Orcs took over or something. They devolved into the Snotlings and stuff. There is that, and I think it's great that it's kind of left open to our interpretation, so we're free to sort of choose whichever we prefer and go with that. And that's the great thing. I love people sometimes complain that 40k rule, that law and stuff is left with gaps and things, but the gaps are often left there deliberately for us to fill that, and I think that's good. And again, it goes into that whole thing of don't explain everything, hint at things, and that's kind of the 40k law in its entirety, isn't it? It's a lot of their law is propaganda. It comes from an imperial perspective, or it comes from reports and stuff, and you can't always trust those reports. And then you can hear another version of it which conflicts to that. And I think it's good that they keep with that, and they don't. It would be bad for them to suddenly say, no, this is what happened. This is exactly what happened. And if you say anything else, you're wrong. So it's good that they leave it open to that, and it leaves it open for good, well-mannered debate, as I'm sure Dim is prepared to have with many of you concerning the Brain Boys and the old ones. The Pale Orc finished building 3 scratch mech guns, all now painted, and 9 shooter boys in 4 hours. Holy shit, my painting. Fuck me, man. Well done, man. Well done. Like literally from start to finish, 4 hours. Like I will never be as quick as that. I would, if I halved my painting time, I would still be nowhere near that. The Pale Orc, just from painting? Question mark. I don't know what you're insinuating there. Where are we here? The Hobby Get loads of wrong people like 8th. The Pale Orc. Wait, you don't tug while painting? Oh, cool. We're going off the rails here. Whoa. Bill Cunningham. Will Death Dread Killcans Stompers be a bigger part of 9th? Well, they're talking about vehicles getting better and things that are counted as monsters being better and stuff. So, yeah, by extension, I think, yeah, possibly. But actually, at the moment, Death Dreads and Killer Cans are in a pretty good spot. Stompers, not so much. Nav's Hobby Corner. Skarner, damn, you beat me to it. Yeah, lots of wank jokes going on there. Gene Gordon, Game 4 is a great app to find a game. Yeah, I did download Game 4 when he first launched it, but it was very limited in this country at the time. I haven't looked at it again recently, maybe as it's one of those apps that needs a big user base for the app to be successful. You can certainly see the potential in it. The Hobby Get, that world exists, Steve-O. It's called the Historical Wargaming Community. That was in reference to things. Are we talking about like in terms of the lore and the history and stuff being questionable, as in it's always written by the victors? Hobby Get, yeah, it's why new Necromunda pisses me off so much. The Hobby Get, people would rather play unplayable trash because it's the new one. Yeah, to a point. Yeah, to a point. I think so. Although I think when Age of Sigmar launched, they lost a massive amount of the player base. So that proved that game came out with some huge problems and the community were not prepared to put up with that shit. And it's taken them a fucking long time to come back from that and to wash themselves of that stink. And I don't know if they ever will fully. CM Wargames, hey, don't diss them. They have a pretty balanced system. Those historical guys are good where I cut my teeth. Yeah, I've never played any of the historical games and stuff. I know that some of them take the game very seriously, and you could be playing a certain game, I don't know, whether it be all Napoleonic or World War II or whatever, and I've heard lots of stories of people saying they've played and someone's going, well, that model of Sherman tank wasn't actually there in until 1943 or whatever, and it's like, yeah, that'd be a bit. I prefer to be able to imagine and make whatever I want. A lot of the historicals, for me, would feel too restrictive. But some of them do look like quite good fun. Nav says, "How's the foot, mate? Really painful, buddy. Really painful. Really, really painful. I'm not going to lie to you. It's hurting like hell right now." Plastic Wrap Gaming, still usable in 9th for now. That's in reference to Legends. It's funny. I'll tell you what, I don't know what some of the people that really like said Legends is going to perfectly fire. I almost feel like they're going to be happy when it's gone. Thinking, I was right. See, I said it all along. Just take the good that we've got, man. Like it's. I would love all that stuff to be still in the codex. I'm just glad that we can still play with it, and I'm glad that we can still play with it in 9th. And so, yeah, it's still there. It's still there. Yeah, it will go eventually. It will. But it's, I don't know. I feel like we'll have the same conversation. I feel like if in a few years' time, when they announce 10th edition, they say, again, Legends is still coming over, I can still imagine someone going, it's going to go. It'll be gone. I'll be ready. I'm going to be ready to tell you, Steve-O, that I told you so. Someone will be there ready for me. There's always someone ready for me. If they were going to keep them, they would be in the codex. Again, in terms of Legends, I guess. Paul, if they want to move more into Legends, so need to keep it around. That's a good point. And it's a sad point, but you're probably right, actually. With various factions continually getting updates and stuff, they will continue to bring out new units, and when they bring out a lot of new stuff, they will inevitably drop some stuff. So yeah, I guess you make a really good point there, actually, buddy. That is probably the main reason why Legends is going to stick around, because they will add stuff to it. Yeah. Which is good for us currently with all our stuff in Legends, but bad for those other people that have got stuff headed that way, I guess. Or maybe we'll have more headed that way. How we get in War the Orcs, they did both. It's a legend. Here's how it happened. Yeah. That's why new 40k lore is garbage. I don't want a story. I want a setting. I'm the same, mate. I'm the same. Definitely. I don't necessarily think we need the stories going on so much, because stories need to change and adapt constantly, and events need to happen, and big events need to happen for them to have an impact in a story. But then those big impacts can have a very negative impact on the game we play. So I am with you on that one, Dim. That requires explanations for all factions so all players can understand theirs. Yeah, some people love that, man. Some people love being told everything. I've said it before on the channel, I'm a huge fan. My favorite movie of all time, Alien, and I absolutely adore that movie. And the later sequels and stuff and things, and I never forget someone telling me I think it was when Alien Resurrection had been out for a little while, and he said, I think it's I said, I thought it was crap. He said, I thought it was the best one. He says, much better than the first one. At least you see the aliens. I'm like, you're a cunt. You're a cunt, and you're not my friend anymore, because you thick fuck. That's what made the film so fucking good, you moron. Sorry, I'm getting heated just remembering it. This happened like 20 years ago. It still gets me hot under the collar. And I'm just like, you don't understand what makes a good fucking horror film, or like a good film, you retard. Like you need imagination. You need imagination. You don't want everything revealed. It's just, yeah. Same with Star Wars. Star Wars, like it was like this religious order of Jedi, and it left so much stuff. You know, my father fought in the Clone Wars and stuff, and you imagine back and you think, oh wow, what would that have been? And then it comes around and they're talking about the midi-chlorian count and shit, and it's like, what? But I'm getting way off topic now, aren't I? I'm getting way off topic. Don't even get me started on the new Star Wars films. Whoa. The Hobby Getting, don't get me started on it's all potentially lies, right? So I don't have to care or read any of it to be 100% right about the setting, just like everyone else. Essex Boys, just finished all my terrain. Good stuff. Rivets and Dakar, looking forward to the next one, Clint. CM War Games, what are we reckoning the cost of the new app will be? No idea. It could be free. Or I don't know. I've got a feeling it would be free with limited use, but then there will probably be like a premium edition of it where you'll pay like either a one-off fee or a subscription fee, and we'll just have to wait and see when it comes out. I mean, they're going to have to be pretty competitive with it because we've got Battlescribe out there at the moment, so there's already a really good army building app at the moment. So, and they know this, and it's a market they haven't properly attempted to get. So they're going to have to be competitive, and they're going to have to be competitively priced, and they're going to have a really good fucking product for people to actually use it and switch from Battlescribe over to that. Otherwise, if it's too expensive or it's not good enough, people will just stick with Battlescribe. Paul Booth, as an orc, I went into hibernation between 5th and 8th. I did between the 6th and 7th. I think that's what you're saying, isn't it? Between 5th and 8th. So 6th and 7th. Yeah, I largely missed 6th and 7th. Gene Gordon says, I recently bought 3 packs of out-of-print 40k Snotlings from 1993 on eBay. Will make great details for my Orc Wig. Yeah, I love those old Snotlings, man. I used to have some of them. They were really cool. The Hobby Get, that was before new good GWTM. Now you're not allowed to think anything is bad. Fact. Gaz Goldar, 6 by Steve. Try using a Philadelphia cheese lid for your Gazgold base. No, I'm just going to get another base. But yeah, it would kind of fit, I guess. The Hobby Get in 2 weeks' time for 10th. You mean? Hobby Get, you are on fire tonight, my friend. Velgarn, 6 plus Stevo. Not really. Some stuff simply get renewed models. According to some people, they want to phase out all Finecast stuff to be rather plastic or legends. Yeah, well, people want Finecast gone, but they don't necessarily want the miniatures they represent gone. They would want them either being metal again or being plastic. And so, I don't know. Finecast going, good. Going into Legends, probably not so good, but they probably will do that with I reckon actually you're likely to see a lot of those, maybe some of the lesser less successful Necron characters going into that with the new like range coming. Imagine some of them older characters might go the way of Legends possibly. Navs says, mate, if your foot hurts that badly, stop the stream and tend to it. Yeah, I need to go and rest it, actually. Good point, buddy. It is hurting quite a bit. You're seeing my discomfort on screen, aren't you? The Hobby Get, Legends is like Specialist Games before it got cancelled in 7th Ed era. If Specialist Games had disappeared without an utter shit and token replacement, there'd be resistance. This way, they let it all slowly die. Like Mini Marines, you mean? They'll be in Legends at some point. Mini Marines. Or normal-sized Marines. Teesside Tyrants, we don't mention those films. Hobby Get, Alien Resurrection is the best Alien film. Changed my mind. No, I'll just unfriend you. Actually, it grew on me over the years. It's an all right movie, but it's not an Alien movie. Plastic Crack Game, 6 by Steve, you're getting as good at this ranting business as Dread. Yeah, and way off topic, just like Dread as well, eh? Paul Booth, and breathe, calm down. Plastic Game, why does that feel like shade? App is free, but you have to buy the codices, says Velgarn. Has that been stated? I know the app's launching at the same time as 9th edition itself. I didn't know that they said it was going to be free or something. The Hobby Get, Fantasy Flight are killing GW on app utility. I think most people are. GW are way behind the times in terms of like apps and things. Way behind. Absolutely killing them. Yeah, I think anyone's killing them at the moment. They're so way behind. Scott O, I thought they said the app will come with the handbook, like with proof of purchase. No, the digital codexes will come. So when you buy your paper codex, the print codex, it will come with a code so that you can download the digital version of the codex for free with your codex, which is what I've been asking for ages. And again, good to see them finally getting with the times. They should have been doing that for years now. That's very cool. I guess I imagine the app itself will be free, but I imagine there will be some. I just feel like there'll be like a premium version of the app that will cost. I'm sure there will. Essex Boys, I love my Metal War Boss. Me too. I think the Metal War Boss is awesome. Casey Mad finished a Blood Bowl Orc while listening. Good stuff, man. God, you people just, and that doesn't mean it sound derogatory. You people, what do you mean, you people? Just you paint so much quicker than me. It just continues to show me how insanely slow at painting I am. Because I get stuff done during a stream, but I never finish a model. I think I finished, I painted Bob, my grot. I painted him in one evening. And that took me fucking hours. And there's one little grot. And Bill goes, what do you mean, you people? Dreadwire, you people. That's triggered, isn't it? Later, alls, have a great weekend and stay safe. Yes, it's 2 hours 16, so I've gone over. And I think probably 20 minutes of that was spent talking about Ninth. The rest of it was spent talking about movies, my foot, my garden, what I've been painting, and Legends. But there we go. Anyway, guys, like I said, stay safe and continue. I can't even speak now. Lots more content coming. I will just quickly say this. I'll have the showcase of my Deathkiller Wartrike coming up soon. I'm going to be making the video, special edition Psychic Awakening books, worth it. I'm going to be finding out because I've got both versions of Saga of the Beast there, and I'm going to find out and tell you whether paying double the price for the special edition is worth it. Spoilers. Probably not. What else have I got? I've got some reviews of some products that have recently been sent to me. I think I can probably say it. I've got Gear Guts has sent me a couple of miniatures to review on the channel. Loads of other stuff coming. Loads of other stuff. Until then, I will see you on those said videos. And take it easy, guys. Have fun. Continue getting stuff painted and built. And I'll see you on the next one. This is 6 Plus Steve-O ending the stream.